required us every single day of the year, not just in the matches, to be at match intensity, to show that the captain, he believed in us, that we were putting in the work required. Excuse me, have a drink. My cricket highlights. 3 photographs, probably 3 photographs. Definitely not my batting career, my batting stats. A very average. A couple of catches, but some amazing photographs. And the first one was me at the World Cup running, tripping over my laces, falling at the stumps, and the photographer and Inzamam still being out at the same time. So kind of, it happened. It was fate. I mean, let's face it, it just was fate. Nothing planned, never done it before, never did it again. And that was kind of me, and a couple of other photographs. And the interesting thing about the photographer, one of the pictures that I remember quite clearly, I saw the photographer the following day. It was at a test series, or a one-day series in the UK, and you travel by bus, you don't fly everywhere, so everyone's kind of going through the same venue, through the same vehicles. And the photographer said his role was to follow me the entire day, all 50 overs in the field. He said, man, gee, that must be, was it boring? Or he said, no. Quite difficult to focus because you never know where I am. I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm like right here, and I'm back there, and fetching hats. I'm kind of doing a lot of work that doesn't seem to be my job description. You know, you're fetching hats, moving markers, stopping the ball, that's what you're supposed to do, but you're doing all this other stuff, you're so busy. And it was really interesting to see my career like that. And I think the key for me, as I said, Hansi Cunha made me the fielding of the captain of the fielding. The captain of the fielding. So I would talk to the guys politely, because my father's a headmaster, as I said, so, and most of them were 6'3". Brian McMillan, remember him? Yeah. So Alan Donald. So my role was one, to get them through the overs, get through them quickly. We didn't have any spin bowlers in our team, so I would then go and say, come on guys, we're a little bit slow. So Alan Donald would go, in the nets tomorrow. So Jonty, still slow, am I? Come on, okay. Or Brian McMillan, come on Mac. And I would run as fast as possible. He didn't have a cane, he had his meat like hands. It was called buckets for a reason. So, you know, I've seen his son's got a thick head because my dad had a stick and Brian Mac just had a so we developed these defensive mechanisms in South Africa to deal with our problems. But the key for me to do, and I spoke about this, practice makes perfect, was the high intensity that we spent our lives in practice doing exactly what I was going to do in the game. But the key as well was that I had this freedom to fail, and none of us like to fail. So whether you're playing cricket for your country or working your own business for a corporate, in a company, we all have egos. Some of us bigger than the people next to us, but we all have egos, and that we don't like to be shown up by failure, by our mistakes, and things that we're uncomfortable doing. So no one sets out to fail, because we don't like to fail. But a lot of us will kind of stay right where we are. So if the ball goes past, as a fielding coach from Mumbai Indians, you heard of those guys? As the fielding coach from Mumbai Indians, I don't sit with my little book and mark down every time someone drops a catch. I've been there, I've done that. There is no such thing as an easy catch. Don't believe a word Harsha Bogey says. There is no such thing. It goes in the lights, the wind blows it, I know. I'm watching the guys. If they stand still and the ball goes past, then I make a mark. Because my whole thing was, if you don't go, you'll never know. And that was a philosophy for my preparation, the way that I played, and my responsibility as the captain of the fielding, got that right, captain of the fielding, was that, guys, if you don't go, you'll never know. Hardik Pandya, 3 days ago, what an incredible catch. 10 years ago, the Indian team would have done what Ashish Nehru did. Stop the ball. Hardik Pandya, who would have thought, with all that stuff in his hair, that he could actually do. What an amazing athlete, and that's what we see. Guys with the freedom to fail. But to have that freedom to fail, you have the backing of the leadership, the backing of the management, the backing of the team around you. Because if you're doing things and you suddenly feel like people are marking you down or taking note of the mistakes that you're making, you suddenly get back in that comfort zone and you don't extend yourself. Okay, so that was my key element with regards to fielding coach, captain of the fielding. If you don't go, you'll never know. And it works in every industry. Final thing for me was that as a South African cricket player, growing up in apartheid era South Africa, we didn't see much of the disparity of the wealth and everything else in the country. Apartheid means living apart. White in one area, so this racial segregation meant that we were taken away. The state owned the media, the state owned everything. You never got to see what was going on. But I've seen poverty in South Africa, I've seen poverty in India. We're a third world economy. We have different issues to first world countries possibly, where CO2 emissions used to be top of the, now it's kind of nuclear warheads and stuff like that. And how many Twitter followers you got. But what's happening in South Africa is that too often, and I see it in India in a way too, is that we see a big issue and we don't get involved. We think it's too big. It's not my responsibility. It's the CEO's job. It's my captain's job. It's somebody else's job. It's just not my job. Because there's a billion people here. If I get up and really sweep the streets, make it clean for one day, what difference is it going to make? It's a billion people here, 1.2 or 3. Who's counting after 1.2 or 1? Who's counting? But in the South African cricket team, we've had a few instances where one run, that's what I asked my players at IPL, Mumbai Indians, just save me one run. There's 11 guys in the field, I'm including the wicketkeeper as a fielder. He can scurry and save a single that's come off the pads. And most of the IPL games, most of the T20 games, come down to 2 or 3 runs off the last ball. So if each guy is saving me one run, that's 11, it's a bit of a cushion. So that's all I'm asking the guys, save one run. I'll go back to 1999 World Cup. We played Australia in the semi-finals. We didn't lose the game, we tied it. We tied a semi-final, no super over. They had a superior net run rate throughout the tournament. They went through. And obviously the money, oh no, I'm not going to say that. They wiped Pakistan in the final in 1999. Not saying we would have won the final had we gone through, but one more run is all we needed to qualify for our first ever Cricket World Cup final. One more run. Lance Klusener having a tournament of a lifetime. He and Adel Donald. Still having one run. 2003 World Cup. South Africa hosted it. Not for very long. We hosted it. That's what you Indian guys got wrong. You're allowed to host it, you can't keep the trophy. No. India is the first country that didn't read the fine print. You can bring in the tourists, you can have all the revenue from it, but you can't keep the trophy. Nobody else had done that. South Africa 2003, our last round robin game. I've got a finger that kind of goes, round corners at times. So the cricket ball does damage if you get it wrong. I broke my hand in the second game of the World Cup, so I'm assigning all the blame to the other guy. And the last game of our round robin was against Sri Lanka. We had to win the game to go through to the Super Sixes. We left it quite late. We tied the game against Sri Lanka. Mark Boucher batting with Lance Klusener. Murali's bowling. And you know the duck with Lewis, when you lose a wicket, you change the score. I'm talking about reading the fine print, India not reading the fine print, about not keeping the trophy at a World Cup. We didn't read the fine print on the duck with Lewis sheet that came out that says, at the end of the 19th over, the score must be 112 to tie the game. So we all go, we threw, and then Mark Boucher's still batting, the last ball comes, he's the ball before for 6, and he defends the last ball. He doesn't want to get out, because we think we won the damn game. We didn't read the fine print. To tie. We tied with Sri Lanka, they went through with the 1 point. We stayed at home with the 1 point. We didn't have to go anywhere the next day. As I said, broken finger, I wasn't there. The third story, the one run, and this is the last story. The one run makes a difference. It's a happy one, finally, for South Africa. South Africa played Australia in what was termed then the best one-day international ever played, best ODI. 434 Australia scored in Johannesburg. 434. No one had ever gone past 400. So obviously no one had ever chased 434. Doesn't take genius to work that one out. The 434, but to put things in perspective, South Africa were 2-0 up in the series. And now I'm the sponsorship manager for Standard Bank. It's a limited over series, and we haven't beaten Australia for a very long time at home. We just got to get one more game, win the series. Ricky Ponting had broken his finger in the test matches. He was back in the ODIs. Missed the first 2 ODIs. Australia lost. He was back in with a damaged hand. He said, no, he has to play. He'll play just to be on the field. Australia win the next 2. So it's now 2-2 with the deciding game to go, and they score 434. So everyone's going, oh, jokers. Jokers. I can't drink water. I'm scared I'm going to choke. 434. And now Herschel Gibbs, 175. Graham Smith, about 90 or 60 balls. Everybody just, as they walked out to the crease, was duck out. 4 boundaries, 6 out, wicket. And it got down to 8 wickets down. Andrew Hall, who's batting, not a bad all-rounder, or a bowling all-rounder, batting with Mark Balch here again. Now Andrew Hall is facing. We need 6 runs to win in the last over. Brent Lee is bowling. Brent Lee, you know him? Yeah. Pretty useful. And plus, that kookaburra has been travelling out the ground all day. So it's hit the roof, it's hit the road, it just scuffed like crazy. What happens when it's scuffed, obviously. So it's reverse swing at 145 kilometers an hour, quite difficult to hit. Andrew Hall hits the first ball that last over for 4. Now we need 2 runs to win. Australia bring all the fielders up to save us, or prevent Andrew Hall getting the single to get Mark Boucher back on strike. Because Hall has just got to the crease. First ball of the over for 4. 2 to win. Andrew Hall tries again. Caught it mid-on. They can't cross because a line drive straight to mid-on. So Boucher's on the non-striker's end. And to the crease walks Mackay and Tini. I love Mackay. Mackay is an incredible man. He gave his heart and soul for the South African team and for the country. The first black African to play for South Africa. Many demands on him that none of us got to experience. Just an incredible guy, incredible character. But he now walks to the crease for South Africa, needing 2 to win and 1 to tie. 1 to tie, 2 to win. Mackay facing Brett Lee. So I'm now the sponsorship manager. I've got to give the trophy to Ricky Ponting. I'm thinking, Graham Smith, come on, South Africa, you can do it. Mackay's no chance. Ricky Ponting is going to get this trophy. Because for 2 years I got left out the test team, 96 to 98. Because I had pretty much an outside edge weakness in my game. So I wasn't playing too much test too well. But I know an outside edge because I played many. In a one-day game, it's very useful because not too many slips in one-day cricket. But in test cricket, terrible shot to play. But can you imagine as an opposition keeper, I mean the captain, when Jonty Rhodes is batting, inside edge of the pack, how do you set the field for a guy who wanted the ball in the middle of the bat? Jacques Callis, straight to extra cover, straight to backward point. So you bowl the ball in the right area. Because his technique was so good. Because I was my hockey player, it was inside edge, outside edge. You can't set a field for that. I don't know where the ball's going. No chance. Anyway, so my stories are very long. Mackay and Tini now has to score at least 1 to tie the game, which he tells us afterwards, he glides to third man. Now he's backed away, and understand that he's coming 150 kilometers, he bats number 11. So he's backed away, and he's managed to get this outside edge to third man. Scores an outside. Mark Boucher's on strike. Next ball goes for 4. South Africa win the game. 438 runs. I mean, never before been done. Not just chasing down that, but to win the series from nowhere. And Mackay and Tini, now I've got the trophy, I'm trying to hug everybody and pretending remembering I'm actually a sponsor, I'm not no longer the teammate. It was all these guys I played with. And Mackay and Tini, we're sitting at the prize giving presentation and waiting for the dignitaries as they are to be announced. And unfortunately, I said I don't want to be doing that, thank you, I'll just come with the trophy. And Mackay was standing next to me with his bat kicked on and still this big smile on his face. And I said, Mackay, what are you smiling about? He was number 1 ICC ranked bowler at the time. He bowled his 10 overs for 92 runs. I said, Mackay, you had a terrible day at the office, and you've got to drop 3 catches knowing Mackay. He says, no, Jojo. He called me Jojo. No, Jojo. My 1 run. Herschel Gibbs, 175, Graham Smith, 19. No, Jojo, if I got out, we lose by 1. And it's incredible. It was exactly that, out of a score of 438, a world record at the time. His 1 run made all the difference. And too often we sit in an environment where we go, it's too big an issue, as I said, it's somebody else's issue. I'm not going to get up from where I am and make a difference, because it's not going to make a difference. And I'm here to tell you, one run, your effort, your contribution makes a massive effort. So whether you have a global corporation with lakhs of employees worldwide, or there's 3 of you in your startup business, every single contribution counts. Every single contribution counts. Because I've seen it. So with that, I thank you.